Y'all, this weekend was the best event I have ever been to, ever. And I don't know if I was just in a place where I needed my cup filled. I don't know exactly why it was that amazing. I can definitely share with you, and I'm going to ask some friends to share a little bit too, and they don't even know that. But here's what I want you to hear me say. So many times people kind of fall in one of two buckets. They're either all about the strategy and the tips and the systems and the messaging, or they're all about the mindset. They're all about the personal growth. But something happened this weekend where it kind of married these two camps. And it showed me that you really can't separate the two, because it's funny. I feel like I've been in a funk because I'm like, well, if I can't see what I need to see, then I'm not even going to look. That's what I feel like in my virtual office. If I can't see the information that I need, then I'm not even going to try. And I was talking to Diamond Brittany Howard, and she does not make any excuses. Do you guys know who that is? Right, Sarah? I mean, oh my goodness. And I was whining. And Alita always says, be a winner, not a whiner. And I was like, well, I literally cannot even. I don't even know where anything is. She goes, Jen, she said, we are always going to have problems. We've had them before. We're going to have them in the future. She goes, we're doing just fine. She's like, are you going to just make excuses, or are you going to keep going? And after I was finished being angry with her, then I realized that she was correct. So everybody is going to go through moments where you feel like, well, if I don't have what I need, then I'm just not going to do it. But the truth is, we're always going to run into obstacles. And so then that's where the strong survive. So if you're in a place of feeling like a frustration that I felt, I hope that encourages you to know that you do what you can do, you control what you can control, and let the rest of it just work its way out. That's really important. So I want to give you a recap of this weekend by starting and asking anyone that was at the Daring to Be Diamond retreat. I want you guys to hear some of the nuggets, because I really do think that it's going to encourage you and really give you some just motivation to keep moving forward. I have a couple things I want to share, but does anyone want to share what they took away from this weekend? Sarah was there. Trying to see if anybody else on here was there. Oh, Lori was there. Would you unmute and tell me this was the thing that I took away? Sarah?
The thing. Oh, goodness. Oh,
give me whatever you want to give me.
Okay. Top tip, or tips for you. Cheryl Moeller. Those customer service tips were fantastic. But the best part was, she said, I want you to look at your the conversation you had with the last person that enrolled. What you focus on expands. So when they filled out that referral link, did you say, oh, but go ahead and put that in there, but you're never going to want to use that. That's okay. That's just, for other people. Or were you like, okay, well, I've got this discount code because I know it's a little pricey. Da, 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 da. Like, what were the things that you were focusing on? Because those are the things that are expanding, because now they're like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to use that referral code, or, oh yeah, it is really pricey. I'm probably never going to order this again. Or were you focusing on the 60-day money back guarantee, because now they're definitely going to use it? Just looking back at that and thinking, oh, this is something I can learn from. I don't need to regret that and beat myself up over it, but this is something that I can say, oh, I did that. Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. Oh, and then changing it for the next one and just making those changes. That was pretty big. I have so much more, but I'm going to shut up. I want Lori Felton to say something.
Well, you know what, Sarah, when Brianne gave this example, she said, when people say to you, you know what, I can't afford it right now, but I'm going to do it when I get my next paycheck, or when I can save up enough money. And she said, if you validate that by saying, okay, go ahead and save up some money, do it when you can afford it. She said, what did you just do for their excuse? You validated that they don't have the money, or even worse, that it takes so long to save to even be able to buy the products. And she said, now this isn't easy. It's a skill that's learned. But when you're saying to somebody, well, can I ask you a question? Is there anything that you spend your money on right now that maybe you wouldn't if you started these products, like coffee and sodas and energy drinks? That is awkward. right? Because you kind of feel like you're overstepping, but at the same time, and I feel like I've done this to my kids a million times, I don't want to jump off the diving board. It's so scary. And if I would have been like, okay, well, let's just wait till you're older, I'm validating the fear, like, you're not ready. It's too scary. But I never did that. I literally shoved them off the diving board because I was like, we got to get this over with. So the same thing when you're trying to get somebody to do something scary, you can't encourage their fears. You have to help them overcome their fears. And I feel like that's the paycheck that we get. The amount of fears we help someone overcome is the amount of numbers in our paycheck. But if we're walking around scared, we really can't help somebody else that's scared. You're like two people in a haunted house that are terrified. That's not going to work. You got to have someone strong. So, Lori, what did you want to share about this weekend?
I just felt like the whole weekend was a beautiful expression of God working in people's lives to help others. From the bottom to the top, there was just a beautiful community that has been built in this company and among the ladies that were in that room. And the encouragement to just step out of my comfort zone and help others, just like, get over it, Lord, and provide another way in this crashing world to help people get out of their lazy boys and off the couch, and to see that there's another way to heal their body, to have friends, to be a part of a community just that loves others and loves to see people succeed. And that was a huge thing for me. And I love that. And there are so many takeaways. And I've gone blank on the takeaways, but that was the big one. It was just the beauty of seeing that God does it. God brings us together for a reason, and we're here for a reason. I feel sort of like Esther, for such a time as this.
It was so encouraging to be reminded that it's still changing lives and that there are still people just as passionate as ever before. And it's kind of like watching a workout video versus participating in the workout video. I felt like we were actually participating in it, and it completely filled my cup. So I'll tell you this much. I messaged all the girls this morning and I was like, this may be too soon, but can we start planning another one? And they're all totally in. So this time though, we had a room next to, I think it's a startup network marketing company that shared a wall with us, and the entire day, this goes to show you how good the content was because we were able to overlook this. They played every 90s rap song you've ever heard at full volume. Like you were trying to listen, but at the same time, you're like, Mac Daddy, make you jump. You're singing it, but then you're like, and you're trying to listen at the same time. But anyhow, we'll get that out of the way. Does anyone else want to share? I think I saw Beverly was there, right?
Beverly? Hey, Jen, I'll share. This is Heather.
Hey, Heather. Go for it.
So I'll share real quick. I'm on my lunch break, so I was able to jump on for a few minutes. But Bethany Spear was amazing. I had never heard her speak until this weekend, and her demeanor of being a pastor's wife and where she came from to where she is now was just truly amazing, and listening to her story. But she talked about belief in herself, or belief in myself, like believing in yourself and not taking on the identity of what people say about you, but what God says about you and who you truly are. She said, if you take on the beliefs that is negative about what the people say about you, and you take that to a skill set, your skill set will not be successful. And that truly stuck. Like, she talked about getting pregnant before she was married, and that now being a pastor's wife. And she talked about all these things like dropping out of college, I think it was, and not finishing college. And if she continued to keep those belief sets and then tried to take it to a skill set to work a business, that she would never be successful. So truly believing in who God wants you to be was amazing. And she said, John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. And that Jesus has came and he says that you have life and have it to the fullest. And it just truly goes back to what Lori just said, that God has a plan and purpose for each one of our lives, and that we truly need to fulfill that purpose that we have been given. There's one more thing she said. Oh, your team is not a reflection of you and your leadership. You can always grow and gain better leadership skills. And I know for me, like I struggle with, my team's not doing this, my team's not doing that, it's my fault. Well, it's not always our fault. It could be their belief not being strong enough and them having negative beliefs, and like truly sitting down and asking good questions and trying to find out the root of what is the problem and not blaming ourselves on why we're not growing. But I'm so excited, Jen, that you said y'all have already been talking, because it was truly the best thing ever. Saturday was amazing. We cried a lot, we prayed a lot, we laughed a lot, but it was a wonderful experience.
I'm glad you came. And then we went line dancing and I got really irritated. Everyone else could figure out the dance, but I couldn't. And so I was like, she must be teaching it wrong because I can't figure this out. But the other 150 people got it. And anyhow, line dancing's for very special people. Bethany said something, we're almost done recapping this. And if you weren't there, I hope you're still getting something out of this. She said that your effectiveness, you can't be as effective if your identity is in crisis. So basically, everything that you believe about yourself, it will keep you from being effective if you actually keep believing those lies. So she said she got pregnant before she was married. She didn't get a college degree. She had all these things that she was saying to herself about why she couldn't do this business. And that was really affecting her effectiveness. And I just keep saying that phrase over and over again. I'm like, I don't want things I believe about myself to keep me from achieving all of those dreams in my heart, which is what we'll talk about that Megan shared. But Beverly, will you share a little bit about what you took away?
Yes, I will. The one thing that really hit me in the face that I hear commonly with my team is they're afraid. And you touched on that just a bit, but the phrase that she used that that's going to be like my motto on my team is fear doesn't give you an excuse to fail. Fear doesn't give you an excuse to quit. Fear doesn't give you an excuse to not share and love people enough to share these products. And we got to walk past and pray through your fears and just see where God wants to take you with this business. I believe this is a God-ordained business. Whether you believe that or not, it is. And that if we just walk past our fears, that was like there was so many, the testimonies, and there was just snot slinging, crying. I mean, there was some good time that was had. I told a friend, my husband, he's a pastor. I was like, it was like a flipping revival in that room with the boom boom music. That's exactly what I told him on the way home. And I told him about you doing your little dance on stage. I was like, oh my God, she's like short, like my daughter. We call her a little leprechaun, but I said she's redheaded leprechaun, and she was booming with it. It was anyway. All that said, you said it perfectly. Even with the boom boom music, we got exactly what God wanted for all of us to have and to gain and to take back home. And my question to everybody is, what in the junk are you going to do with it? I mean, is it just going to stay on your paper? Is it going to be really cute notes that you go back and you reflect on? Or are you going to actually put action to the words that you wrote down and the things that intentionally hit your heart this weekend? I plan on working it like a boss, like you do, like a boss. I told one lady, I said, that little redheaded girl, she's a boss. I mean, she is like, that's who you need to follow. So anyway, I'm your number cheerleader, if you didn't know that. Like, I wanted to get your autograph. I'm joking. But anyway, but really I would have. But anyway, y'all don't be afraid to do hard stuff. That's just me. Just your fear is not an excuse. So I love y'all. I do. I love y'all. Thank y'all for letting me go. I'm not even part of Jennifer's team, her leg. And let me be a part of this wonderful event. And I so appreciate it.
Glad you came. And she came and said hi to me. And I said, can I just put you in my pocket? Really good for me right now with all the stuff you're saying.
I really want to
Hey,
put,
Jen, can I add my 2 cents worth? It's
Please.
Allison Lively.
Hit me.
I don't know her. Okay, so first off, I stood behind you while we were line dancing, and I think you were faking that you couldn't get it because once they turned the music on, you got it. My eyes saw you doing it. So baloney that you couldn't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
There. That, you know, the thing I got out of, I mean, this weekend was amazing, but you had brought up 4 things we were supposed to ask each other. And it was like, what's your greatest strength and why? A bucket list item, what's something out of your comfort zone, and what would your diamond documentary look like? And to me, that was just like dreaming way bigger. You know, you think, well, I'm only this, I can't think about that yet. So I thought that was really good.
I'm glad you shared that. And we're going to talk about this dream board idea here in a second, but that fits in perfectly with it. Did Melissa or Christina or anyone else want to share before we move forward?
Yeah, I'm still like braless and in my jammies, but I'm here. But yeah, it was such an experience, and just sharing it with the girls that we were with at our table and getting to know everyone. It was really wonderful, and it was like a revival. Like, we cried from beginning to end. Like, definitely tissue boxes on the table. That's a necessity next time. We
Right.
were bawling. It was so deep. We just went so deep. It was great. So what we implemented, and we're starting again, and it's very exciting, is we're starting to get together once a month again, like we did before COVID. And we just haven't made the decision to do it again. So we're meeting next Monday. We're doing dream boards. We already ordered the boards. We're getting us all together, and we're going to do dream boards next Monday.
I love
So
that.
we're excited. Yeah, it's going to be great. But yeah, it was just an experience for sure. It was life-changing. It was wonderful.
I'm glad you.
Loved every minute of it.
Melissa, did you want to share?
Yes, I would. It was just it was the best event that I've been to. It was absolutely amazing. And I was really, really glad to be there with our team, but also to meet so many other people. One of the things that Brianna said was, we all have the same 24 hours. You can only give yourself so much grace before it becomes an excuse. And it's like, ouch. Okay, well, speak truth. And the other thing, and this was, and I said this to you, was that Bethany wanted us to write down the limiting beliefs that we're choosing over God, and to trust in who God says that we are. And the things that I wrote down, they made me very sad. And this morning, as I was laying in bed early, I had not countered them yet, but I started countering them in my head. And I've got to go back and write those down. And I'm not brave enough to share with what those are, because I'll cry. Everything comes from who we believe that we are and what we believe we are capable of. And those things are changing, and I can feel that, and I see that, and I know that is huge part due to this weekend.
We're going to do that today and write down some of those limiting beliefs, those untruths, and we're going to replace them. And maybe you're on here thinking, but I want to like work my business and message people. And it's just unbelievable how much this stuff matters in the everyday functioning of your business. Because if I'm messaging people believing, how in the world does someone that's got a body mass index of whatever, or how in the world does someone that's overweight start sharing with people about health and wellness products? If I'm thinking that every single time, and y'all, I do a lot, it does affect my effectiveness. So we have to get through that. Okay, let me just finish saying this. These are going to be the 2 quotes I always remember from this weekend, because it makes it sound like we were at some really weird, jacked up thing. It's to live dirty and stop giving yourself grace. Does that not sound like the anti-message to everything you've ever heard? But it really was super, super special. So here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to talk about Megan's talk, and we're going to talk about doing dream boards. Christina's already got hers planned with her team. But Megan Malakovic has a vision of writing a book called From Medicaid to Millions. And so when they started Plexus, they struggled financially and they had a belief and a dream in their heart for what they wanted to accomplish with Plexus. Now, she is incredibly intentional. So what she did is she created a dream board, and I'm going to show you 2 ways you can do this. She actually got it printed out. I'm not good with measurements, but I'm going to make this up. I'm going to say it was like 3 feet by 2 feet. And if anyone knows, is that right? Okay. It was a foam board and it was huge. And she had created this dream board for getting to Emerald. And so one of the things I learned from this is so often we help people create dream boards and we get them to project from the moment they are to the very furthest place that they could get, instead of looking at it in these measured steps. So her first dream board was about getting to Emerald. She wanted to take her kids to Great Wolf Lodge. So it wasn't like Paris or like Tahiti. I don't even know where that is. But the point is, she put things that were actually, to me, where you would be as an Emerald ambassador, instead of saying like, I want to be a millionaire. I want to have 3 houses. I want to have a beach house. I want to have like full body reconstruction, whatever. The point is, she got herself into a measured place and it was beautiful. And then once she hit that goal, she made a new dream board. And that new dream board had the next rank. It had a quote on it. It had ideas for her family, places she wanted to go. And she's done that every year since. And it's so big that she put it up in her house and everyone in her house sees it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it in my bedroom and I'm going to make this something that I see every single day. Because do you guys dream? And then also, do you help other people dream? Because if we put off the dreaming, because sometimes we say that it's like, don't dream it, do it. Like we want people to get into action. But the problem is if we don't actually teach people how to dream, most people, my mother-in-law, and she's not on here and I'm not going to record this enough to show it to her. Well, it's recorded, but I won't let her see it. She will not let herself dream because she believes life is a series of disappointments, that everything she'd ever want could never possibly happen. So why get your hopes up? How can you accomplish something big if you don't believe that big things happen? That's so important. If we don't dream, and I'm not talking about these outlandish dreams of things that you just want them to fall into your lap and you're just like, my daughter told me she saw the video of the man that was stranded in the water and a boat came by and said, can I pick you up? And he said, no, I'm waiting for God to come get me. And then another boat comes by and no, I'm waiting for God to come get me. And when he drowns and he gets to heaven, he says to God, like, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I totally sent like boat after boat after boat after boat. This is about getting into action with belief and dreams. And so I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you guys can create this dream board. And you're going to really have to put your thoughts into this. When you think about your dreams, go ahead and like close your eyes. And I want you to think, what do you see yourself doing when you hit that first level of success that you're hoping for, whether it's that very next rank, or maybe it's a certain amount of money that you want to make, or maybe it's a certain year that you want to achieve it by. Every time that you hit a new level, your dreams change a little bit. And so close your eyes, think about, what does that look like? What is your family doing? Where are you living? What are you able to do? Where are you traveling to? What are some of the lives that are going to be changed because you did this? When you can get yourself in that place of dreaming and you create this dream board, I'm going to show you just 2 options. Okay, here's one option, not this purse. I was looking at something. Okay, hold on. Let's do this again. I actually didn't mean to click stop sharing. Okay, let me X out of this. And here we go. So you could go to Staples, and when you go to Staples under services, they offer you print services, and here's where they have poster boards. So you could just do a regular poster. You could do a foam board like Megan had, or you could even get one of those that just stick to the wall. I don't know if that affects your paint. But the point is, let's not make some little bitty dream board. Let's go all out, making something that's so powerful. And I'm going to try to find a picture of the one that she made. It's scary to put something on a dream board and pay money for it, and you make it so big that nobody would miss it, because now what? You're accountable to those dreams. That actually becomes something that people are going to ask you about, that your kids are going to ask you about. And when she was working, her kids knew, when mommy does this, we're going to go to the Great Wolf Lodge. And they did. And she said it was one of the best trips that they've ever been on. Let me show you another option. You can go to Canva. If you go under print products, they offer you a poster option, and then you can go and design your own poster right here. Let's say that for some reason I have this dream right now of getting to a place. This is really goofy. The loop where I live is 1.6 miles, and I have this dream that I'm going to be able to run my entire neighborhood with my hair in a ponytail, and it's going to be like bouncing up and down as I run the entire time without stopping a single second. And that's part of my dream. Is that plexus related? Kind of, but it's also because I want to say that my body can do that. So that's just something that I want to do. So I would find a picture, either maybe someone running or running shoes, and I'm going to put that on my board, and I'm going to be working to create this dream board. Put your word of the year there. Put a quote that's going to inspire you. Put a way that you're going to serve. Put something that you're going to be able to go do fun with your family, whatever that is. Maybe it's a ministry that you have in your heart. God puts dreams in your heart, not because he wants you to have that good feeling, oh, yay. No, it's because he means for you to accomplish those dreams. And he also means to give you the tools to accomplish those dreams. But what stops you is fear and those limiting beliefs. So much can get in the way. And so he has given you those dreams in your heart on purpose. So let's work on creating these dream boards. You can either go to Staples or Canva. I'm going to go ahead and be working on that. If you guys want to just use an app just to create one and put it on the wallpaper on your phone, do that. I'm going to go ahead and look for Megan's example and put it up here as well. And I'm going to mute myself in the meanwhile. Okay, can you see this particular picture? Thumbs up. Okay, good. So this was the dream board that she made after she got to Diamond. Now, let me tell you something. Her Emerald poster board had that Great Wolf Lodge. I think it had the Emerald Extravaganza trip. I can't remember what else was on it. But the next dream board, she wanted to get to Sapphire. She had her word of the year. She had a trip that she wanted to go on. I can't remember the rest of it. But the point is, she said, she felt like she was stuck. She felt this fear of being an emerald because now how do I lead these people? And one night she just realized she wasn't dreaming big enough for her. She said, I realized Sapphire wasn't going to do it. Like I had to change that to Diamond. Like that was what I needed to work for. And she had no idea in that time that she would end up double ranking in the same month, Sapphire and Diamond. Double ranking Sapphire and Diamond in the same month. But look how specific this is, guys. She talks about wanting to be a millionaire. She talks about wanting to be a full-time family. She puts both trips on there. She puts in a particular quote. This is her farm in Tennessee where she wants to continue raising her family. She was able to buy this and move to Tennessee right next door to her mom as part of her dreams. She wants to build a pool, which they're just now breaking ground on. But look how specific this is. And that's what I'm asking you to do is get really specific. And this is her word of the year. One of the years was intentional. I can't remember the rest of them, but this seems simplistic. It's not. Don't forget to put everything, even if it's leaders retreat and going to Disney World, you need to make a dream board and then be willing to change it as time goes on.
Hey, Jennifer, it's Clint. I don't know if I have a dream board I've been doing with my family. I don't know if you'd want me to show it. It's in PowerPoint. Does that,
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Want
Let
me to
me see if
share?
I can, I think what I have to do is make you co-host. Give me a second.
Okay.
Actually,
you can get an analytical engineering version.
all right. I made you the host. So you just click share screen. It should work.
Okay.
Do you see the option? Oh, good.
Yep. You see a PowerPoint?
Oh, wow. Wow. You're like, girl, I've been doing this. I already know.
Yeah. So I have 4 of them here. You can see, and you can see mine on the, hopefully you can see where the house on the sold on the top left. So I like your thoughts about looking out, what's the next step. I've looked out next step and future, and some of these are a house. And that picture, that little picture on there is my little daughter. We have 10 kids, 4 to 28. So my little daughter was sleeping on the floor because there wasn't really room in the bed for her. And I'm like, oh, I do not like my little girl having to sleep on the floor. That drives the daddy. I'd like to have a garage. I'm currently a Ruby. I'd like to be senior Ruby. And like weekend getaways with the wife. The middle picture there is Banff National Park. My son, he's 19. He said, I asked if he wanted to travel in life. He's like, Dad, I would love to go to some national parks. Well, I'm like, as a daddy, I want to make that happen. So I want to see that in camping memories. I used to have Jewel by July for me for last year, but it's hard to get my team motivated around me being Jewel by July. But it's a Jewel team. I can get them around that to how many silvers, how many golds, how many senior golds, and then rank it all up. And we have lots of travel ideas. So this was mine, quite a thing. And then I got the girls involved. So I print these on big pieces of paper like these, and I post them all around the house. So downstairs we have them on our back door in the bedroom. We have them on my front of the treadmill. So I look at it every day. And then my little girl's 4-year-old, she put one together. It's kind of a more of a wish list, but it's what are the things that as daddy gets from red to green to blue to all these, when do we get these things? How do we, and it just helps them dream. And as we get stuff, we change it. So they're always, hey, Daddy, can we go look at our dream boards? Can we update it? It's exciting. 7-year-old Claire, she has this on hers. She wants to, these are some things, we have a big house or a lot of people in a small house. So they'd all like to have their own beds and stuff like that. And my wife, she's senior Ruby. It took her a while to get on board with this, but I finally got her to do it. And if I'm not aligned with her on what our vision is, it's pretty tough as a family to be going in the same direction. So this was my wife, Brandy's dream board. So we're using PowerPoint just because I'm on the computer all the time, but that's just an example of what we've done. And it seems to work good. The kids, they live it. They understand it. They're, Daddy, what do we do when we get this? Or how do we get this? Or what can I do to help with this? It's a pretty good process. And it wasn't, I knew it would be good. And I like, hey, I should do that dream board someday. I should really do that. I should write it down. Everybody says you should really do it. For like 2-3 years, I didn't do it. And then finally I did. It's completely changed my focus, completely changed what I do. Because if it's not on my dream board, is it really important? And where does it fall in our priorities?
Like we're all completely smiling ear to ear because that is so beautiful, first of all. And then immediately what I thought about is you telling your kids, okay, I've got to go do a couple of meetings, send a couple messages, and even go to a sip and see. Most kids are gonna be like, oh, why do you have to go? And why you're always doing Plexus and all of that. Instead, they have this dream board. It's given them vision. And when you say, Daddy has to go do these meetings, has to make a couple calls, they're gonna be like, get it, Dad. It changes everything for your family when they get that buy-in. Do you experience that because you've done this with them?
Yeah, for sure. I'm doing some vendor events, and the first question out of their mouth, Daddy, how many people did you sign up? And I try to explain that we don't know who the diamond's going to be, but every person is a win and every connection's a win. But they always ask, how many people, and they don't understand the numbers and concepts, but every person in every conversation is closer to the goals.
So great, guys. And I want you guys, this has nothing to do with the dream board, but what we've done in phase 2 is just change the name. Don't let this VIP customer piece change what you've always been doing to get you to diamond. You still are presenting silver. You are still getting these people to add their 3. And the more you do that and the better you do that, the more your goals become a reality.
Hey, Jennifer, can I share something from people's? I saw his board and I think that that's absolutely wonderful to see it on the thing, but I made my board. We had a group and we made boards one night and I did this board. Let me get it. Hold up. I don't know if you can see it, but you see all these little stickers right here?
Uh-huh.
And tons of little stickers all around here. And I realized that that was giving me a mindset that I was playing too small. So I changed it to this. I made big Post-it notes. And I don't know if you saw during convention, but my face was on there. So now I have this as my board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's huge compared to me. So it reminds me to play bigger and not minimize myself. I still need to put pictures with all of those things, but now I see it. It's more there. It's not, I'm not the artsy engineer, which that was absolutely beautiful. But it's like I had a hard time even finding pictures, but I found that big Post-it notes are definitely the way to go. And it allows me to see it every single day. And it sits over here on my wall as I'm sitting at my table working. It's right there in my face. So you have to see it every day. So I believe that you have to be in there, look at it every day to see that it's there so that it can be a part of what you're doing. And a constant vision, a reminder. But that's my simplistic way to do it.
Well, that goes to show you guys all the different personality types. For her, the words are really, really powerful. And for Clint and his family, the visuals are really powerful, or even a mixture of the two. And this isn't just to stop with you. You need to pass this down to your team. The power of you helping them create these dream boards. And what you don't want is for it to be like a Kanye West song where it's like, I want a Lexus and $1 million, like you're laying in a bed with money falling on top of you. Like, this is not what we're trying to do here. Financial freedom is fantastic. Driving the Lexus is fantastic. But if this doesn't have an emotion attached to it, then it's just materialism. And honestly, that does nothing. It has to be like to someone's core. Like, what was I made for? What am I here for? What am I meant to accomplish? And what will be the beautiful result of that? And if you can get your team doing this, come on, think about how much that would set them on fire. So let's do this for like 5 more minutes. I'm just gathering pictures. I'm obviously not gonna be able to finish it. And then would you put in the chat if you've picked a word for this year? This is the first year I didn't do that. Isn't that funny? And this has been the weirdest couple of years, but last year was organized, and it's funny that COVID would happen because I had nothing left to do but to organize my house. So put your word for this year.
Can I say something about my 3D dream board, Jen?
Go for it, Rita.
I created a dream board at my house in the front room on a table that is a transom that came from a house in Bay St. Louis that was destroyed in Katrina. And the transom allowed the air to move through. So I feel like it lets our dreams pass. And I have
turn on my lights and my iPad and I will film. And yeah, that's how my mornings go. Having a All right, my mornings start like this. I get up, I get my makeup on, I get dressed,
I can't do it. I just
and then I make my bed, hopefully. I have a wonderful
Okay. And so I didn't, a tab was open. I didn't know what it was. So I put 3D things on my table that move and change. And my grands are a big part of my why. You might have seen the little one just woke up from her nap, but I put pictures of them of why I'm doing this. And my oldest grand is 4, and she'll ask, what's new to the dream? You know, and so they're starting to add things like he was saying about his family getting involved. They're the reason for me to have a legacy dream. And so having 3D objects that move is really good for my artistic soul, as opposed to 2D on a poster, which I think is great, or on a computer that can change. But mine rotate on the table. So that's just what.
See, it just takes all kinds. And I'm looking at all the words: mindset, intentional, believe, discipline, pivot, traction, run. Tina, was yours SOS, or was that about the person being unmuted? Faithful, belief, connection.
It was about the person being unmuted.
Okay, good. I was like, uh-oh, let's talk. Grit, all of those are beautiful. And the connection part, Stacy, I have the same problem. I'm like, did I pick one? And if I did, it clearly didn't move me because I can't remember it. We talked about connection. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. We talked about connection. And one of the things that I shared about is it's so easy to be in small talk with your potential, small talk with your team, because it's what we've learned, especially if you've ever taken any network marketing classes, and even Dale Carnegie. It teaches you how to get into a conversation with someone. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like doing that? These are all these questions, but they do nothing for that connection. What you're doing in that is looking for a common ground. You're trying to find something that they might say that you know and understand, whether it's where they're from, or maybe you know someone that does what they do. You're looking for common ground. And there's nothing wrong with small talk if you like small results. Ow. But if you want to get into big results, then it's about the big talk. And this is about having real conversations with people, like really asking questions to get to know them. It will stun them because not many people get asked the questions like, okay, what do you want to do in your lifetime? Like, tell me one bucket list item. It's stunning because most people don't ask those type of questions, whether it's because they don't want to take the time to listen to the answer, or maybe they feel uncomfortable. And if they do, you could share yours first. But I saw a study that a girl did in college, and she had this whole idea of really having these great, deep, connecting conversations. And she videoed herself going around to strangers asking, she said, what do you want to do before you die? Which was really blunt, right? And the video, these people she doesn't even know, as soon as she asked the question, they sort of change in their facial structure. They stop looking like someone that's just meeting someone for the first time, putting their hand out. It's like, and they just become real, like a real person, like not a robot. And they start to share and cry with a stranger. One man said, I want to reconcile with my dad before I die. Everyone was sharing something from the heart. And when you can connect that way with people, your business absolutely takes off, because people want to be where they're seen and heard and known. So that's a really important skill that maybe you think about for all of this as part of your dream, is to become a greater and better connector. Okay, so this is what we're going to do to end with, and a little announcement. So just for October on Wednesdays, we've been combining with Pink Life, and that's just for this month. We'll go back to just doing our own thing the next month, but I thought it would be fun to be able to see what they do. Everyone loves Janina, so Wednesday is the last time we'll do that. So what I want you guys to do, and this has been a different type of power hour, but I still think that this is something we need to touch on every so often, because when people lose their belief and when people lose their focus, or when people lose their passion, there's really no reason to be sending messages. You just become a computer. You just become someone trying to check the boxes. And a person that checks the boxes is just not going to get the same results as someone that invests in the things that we're talking about today. So what you're going to do is make a list of, we're calling them limiting beliefs, but what you really need to call them is lies. These are things that you believe about yourself when it comes to your success in Plexus. And we all have them. And if you say, I don't know, no, you know. And I already shared one with you. I have the same limiting belief that I've had pretty much the whole way through. It's, I don't look like someone that should be sharing health and wellness. And I might say that, and that might hurt your feelings because you're like, how could she say that about herself? But that is just something I say to myself a lot. Like, especially if I'm out at the playground with my kids and I see other women that, like, I feel I'm always comparing myself and thinking, do I look like someone that should be doing that? So you're going to make that list of untruths. And if you're willing to share one of those untruths, either in the chat or unmute yourself, something that is a lie, and lies create anxiety. Anxiety creates fear, and fear keeps you from getting into action. Fear puts you into inactivity. So this is all so important. So share one of your untruths if you want, but make a list of those. And then when you're ready, like Melissa said, you need to replace those with the truth. That is very hard because sometimes you feel like you're lying to yourself about the truth. But has anyone ever here had a health thing come up when you're on Plexus, whether it's hormones or anything that you've ever struggled with? And you're like, but I thought these products help with that. This has helped me a ton. If something comes up, I say to myself, I wonder how much worse this would have been if I hadn't had Plexus. Like, for example, going through menopause, it's like, I wonder how much worse, how much more horrible this would be. I wonder how much my husband would dislike me if I didn't have Plexus, because this could be so much worse, right? So if anyone wants to share one of their untruths, and I know that's a very bold request, but I think this could be super important for somebody, like somebody's depending on someone on here to share that, and then we're going to replace it.
I'd like to share if I could.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm going to be honest, this is totally, I've never, I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. I guess let me scroll back over. I'm new to Zoom. My name is Marlena. I'm under Lori Felton. This weekend was the first Plexus event. I've been a Plexus user. I used back in the beginning when you guys, when it first came out, and it worked. And then I got away from it and then came back to it about 4 or 5 years ago and have used it. And then about a year ago, I branched out and shared it with several people on my Facebook page. And I had some people that wanted to try it with me. And so I inadvertently have created a senior silver team. But I went this weekend, and I'm just being transparent. I went this weekend just to get out, just to have fun and fellowship. And I was like, okay, you know, I love Plexus. I love the products. That's fine and well. But my mindset was,